Good morning, evening, afternoon, or whenever you might be listening to this. Welcome back to Nerdin' Out. My name is Evan.
I'm Nathanael.
I'm David. You want to try that again, ASMR?
I mean, I would think it was David's ghost, but... Ugh. This is not the podcast I wanted to be on.
I didn't agree to this.
I took a wrong left.
Kinky ASMR crap. I don't know.
Kinky?
For some people, not me. Not me.
Do you want to?
Okay.
Do you want to make it kinky?
I don't.
Oh, okay.
So,
It's like don't threaten me with a good time.
Takes off his shirt. Whoa! No.
how did I agree to be on this podcast?
I asked you and you said yes. That's how it
And
that's
you
how
It was that simple, yeah.
it was that simple.
And you owe me money. So off we go into...
I owe everyone money.
Quickly, just into just fun facts that because like Spider-Man PS4 game broke records, didn't it?
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
It is the fastest selling PlayStation exclusive
Title.
for any PlayStation console.
Yeah.
Now, who held that before?
I'm actually not sure.
I think
Last of Us?
It was either Last of Us or God of War. It was one of the two.
Okay.
It might have been God of War. I'm not specifically sure.
It sold 3.3 million in
like
3
3 days.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man PS4, if you can believe this, it beat out Homecoming's 3-day intake of money.
Dang.
By $70
I
million.
can.
Dang.
I can believe
It
it.
made $70 million more than Homecoming in its first.
And that's in total, not just physical copy. That's downloads, that's physical,
Yes.
that's pre-order,
But
that's
it's not,
everything.
It's not counting ones bundled with the consoles they sold.
Okay.
But it
Dang. man.
Also,
it beat out Homecoming, which
also,
is huge.
Also, the new Bumblebee trailer dropped this week. And
Do not watch that movie. It looks like absolute garbage. I don't know if Evan was gonna say he likes it, but go ahead. I haven't even seen it.
I'm only interested because Peter Cullen is reprising his role as Optimus Prime, and I love him. So that would be the only reason why I see it.
Pirate this movie when it comes out.
Well, the thing is,
We
though,
don't endorse piracy.
okay. Well, the thing is, though, it looks like it's sticking closer to the source material from the '80s cartoons, and all the Decepticons and Autobots look like they do from the cartoon. So it looks more faithful to the source material. I'm not saying go out and go see it. I don't know a whole lot about it yet.
I'm just very mad at Hollywood right now with all their cash
But
grabs.
because Bumblebee still
Right.
still kind of looks like the Bumblebee from the Michael Bay films, but we'll see. I don't know, but yeah, that's my little thing. I saw the trailer completely, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, and I love Peter Cullen.
As long as they don't give Bumblebee a voice like they did in that last one. Please.
Too late.
It's me,
Please.
Bumblebee.
Yeah. I'm your best friend.
No, that voice.
Hey, it's me, Bumblebee.
And then, of course, the ironic jump the shark. Oh, I remember your voice, even though we have never heard it.
Or no, they have. They didn't.
Forever
They hadn't
ago,
heard it in like forever. Yeah.
It's like, oh, you mean you couldn't muster the strength to talk?
good. Oh, he just prefers to use the radio. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
So we're going into one of our new segments, David's Trowbridge. Do you have a?
I have been
Evan, do you
noted.
think we should cross?
It feels like 1920. My pockets are empty and I'm and welcome to Davis Trowbridge.
Let's cross over the bridge and see what happens.
Let's find out.
Let's try to cross.
Well, you know what didn't cross for me this week?
All right.
Let me just preference this by saying my fun, faithful friend Evan told me that we had 88 bleeps in this last podcast, so I'm gonna
not that
I'm
many.
gonna try and
It was
not
33, I think.
I'm gonna try
Yeah, it was like 33.
and try to not swear, because this particular topic gets me so riled up, and I'm gonna stand up because I am livid right now.
Ew.
Right off the bat.
One. That's my only one. Why did Illumination Pictures choose to touch my precious Grinch and make it a movie, you sons of French toast? I hate you so And then you picked the one person who I thought couldn't screw a roll up, David Cumberbatch. And what do? You make him play the Grinch in a non-like Grinch way. It looks
Who's
terrible.
David Cumberbatch?
His name
He's
is
the guy who plays
Benedict.
Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm sorry.
You must be
See,
really
this is
mad.
how pissed off I am right now. It's because there was nothing wrong with the original Grinch from Dr. Seuss. The animation was fantastic. Even besides the Christmas one, that entire thing
Also the
has
one
been
with Jim
locked in
Carrey.
time.
Also the-
Yes, and that one, the live action one. No, what they choose to do is make a rounded edged, ugly looking Grinch who looks like he just came out of South Detroit and survived. And then, let's just add in some other character, either a fat reindeer or I don't know, and make him another sort of like playoff minion like the rest of them that they do. And then Max. And then there's Max, who's basically an extra from the freaking Lorax movie. It looks like they just used the same file and copy pasted it into it.
He also looks like a pet from The Secret Life of Pets.
And oh my god, why? You had one job, make crappy movies. Don't touch my movies. And what do? You're like, let's see, what's a childhood classic? Who's that guy who was born in San Diego and made like every good book ever for children? Dr. What? No. We got this. Hold on. Let's just smooth art, rounded edges, and make everyone look like they have Ebola. There we go. Everything's fine now. And you know what? Here's the thing, Illumination. This would be a whole nother topic if you started making, original content. But this is the second time. This is the second time that you've boned Dr. Seuss for doing this. And I swear to God, if you as much touch the Cat in the Hat, I will bomb your offices, and I will not care how long a sentence I serve. I swear. Now here's the deal. I am not going to watch this. I will read the reviews on it. And here's why. It's because, one, I want to see how much you dick this up. And then two, I want to have something to add to my footnote of my suicide letter in jail after I bomb your place for touching Cat in the Hat. Because I know you're going to do it. That's just something that you do. And then you're going to touch one fish, two fish. And then you're just going to screw everything up for Dr. Seuss. And you don't give a flying...
Ew. Nerd Out does not sponsor any of the actions or condone any of the actions or words that came out of David's mouth. But we agree with them. But we don't sponsor or condone.
But we do find them hilarious. Oh, you okay, David? Have you calmed down a bit?
Hold on.
That was incredible.
Hold on.
Wait, are you not done?
Hold on. I just gotta Serenity now. This great country of ours has fallen victim to a different kind of terrorism, ladies and gentlemen. It's time. It's time we rise up and we fight Illumination. Stop bad movies. Stop bad animation. And for the love of God, stop making people that look like they have terminal 7 brain cancer. Please, can we all just join together?
Come on, join together,
Can I get an amen? Thank you. Thank you very much.
This has been David Strawbridge. Return to us next week when he talks about his high blood pressure.
This has been... No, I'm kidding.
Brilliant.
There you go. I didn't think I'd have something to be pissed off about, but leave it to Illumination Pictures to give me anything to get pissed off about.
I just mentioned Illumination Pictures. Like, I got one.
I'm just like, I blocked this from my memory.
So I'm
And
now
here's what I'm
sweaty and I
talking
smell
about.
horrible just from like the stress of that.
a little bit.
Oh, I landed in your shoe.
Do we even have a main topic today? We do.
Yeah.
Gaspe.
Guess what?
What?
Spootman.
Spootman.
Spooderman.
Soul Spider-Man.
Says Soul Calibur mix.
No. Soul Spider-Man. Oh, with the webbings and such. It's all sticky.
Have you guys seen
Damn it.
What is it? Batman and Spider-Man? I'm Batman. I'm Spider-Man. I come over the house.
Spider-Man.
Best one. Worst, best animation of Spider-Man, Batman, and they have a tuba, and it makes no sense. And go watch it on YouTube.
Spider-Man. Radioactive Spider-Man.
Marvel's Spider-Man for PlayStation 4 came out about 2 weeks ago or so.
Oh gosh.
Indeed.
Okay, so we're gonna do a non-spoiler review. Then we're gonna do our thoughts and opinions, first reactions to it. Then we're gonna do a spoiler review, and we're gonna kick David out because he hasn't completed the game.
Yeah.
And we plan on doing a Twitch stream at some point, and that's gonna be probably the first game that we play. And
Absolutely.
we're gonna have David play through it, and we don't want him to be
And I
spoiled
think-
to any of the story.
I think it should be said on the podcast that we have it physically that if we do a Twitch, I think we should have dedicated sorts of games. Obviously, the first one will be Spider-Man. No doubt.
Yeah, that has to be.
I think we should also do a classic game off, and I've mentioned many times I want you guys to play Donkey Kong 64. We have to. And then I think it'd only be fair if we did something, computer game or something like that, and maybe do it a couple, 1 or 2 times a week. We'll stream.
sure.
So
I know Doug wants to do like a Dungeons and Dragons stream at
Absolutely.
some point.
That's
which,
definitely
which
gonna
I
happen.
talked to him about it, and I know that we
I would
still wanna do it.
love to see a rage-induced Cuphead stream. Because that is
No, just
co-op.
me and David have to play it, and just like we'll
the
be,
co-op Cuphead, and then just we'll
Which
have
is
to have
harder-
the mics so far away. It's harder, yeah.
than single player.
I've seen it. It's
Well, no, yeah, because you have to lean on the douche next to you.
wow. It's already starting, and we haven't even started it. No, but that is this game, Spider-Man.
Is that
Yes.
the name of our multiplayer series, Lean on the Douche?
Lean on the douche, please.
Oh my God, I'd have to find out if that name's actually taken or not.
I don't think it is. There's no way.
Nerd Nut stream. Lean on the douche. Whenever we do a co-op stream, oh yeah, please, can we do that? That's got to be that can't be a thing already.
So Spider-Man PS4. Give a quick score. I think only Evan and I have played the whole game, so only we're going to be able to give like
Story-wise.
story-wise. Yes,
You've
We've
played the
completed
entire
game.
game, Nathaniel.
I played the
You've
entire game.
100% it.
Entire game.
Hey, congratulations. Thank you.
I can't take full credit. I've only half 100%ed it. So I've got all the trophies in the PlayStation like section of the game. Like you get trophies and then you get a platinum trophy, which means you've got all these accomplishments.
You got all the trophies.
The game file itself, I'm at 99%. I was at 100%, but when you beat the game, it goes back 1% apparently.
Yeah.
Because there's something else you unlock. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
Not
there
spoilers.
is something else to unlock, and also there's DLC coming, so it won't be 100% forever.
I'm sure
good.
it'll switch off. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
Okay.
Just initial thoughts and reactions. David? Let's start with you. You only played it for like
Couple hours.
for a couple hours.
For a few hours. It was
but
very fun.
What was your first
It
impressions?
was
of
very fun, very enjoyable. Cinematic, very cinematic. I like that a lot. It's very, very pretty to look at for sure. Stable, I can say that. There's
How
a
was
few
the
points.
walking?
I had to force glitches. We'll say that. The three of us sat down and they gave me the controller and they were like, "Go." And so I walked everywhere and didn't use my web for a while. And Evan, I think, lost a lot of life. I think
And respect.
Yeah, and it was fun.
I grew several right hairs
Yeah,
just
yeah,
watching him do
yeah.
that.
his heart
So-
shrank several levels.
They
that day.
turned into Spider-Man and said, "I don't feel so good, Evan," and then disappeared. So I really enjoyed the game. I honestly hoped it wasn't just going to be an Arkham clone, and it really wasn't. It was very, very well fleshed out. Gameplay was nice and smooth. There wasn't a lot of, like I said, I had to force a lot of the glitching to happen. So on a natural gameplay, everything will work fine, as it should. And it's it's a lot more open world than I thought it was going to be. Very to scale with actual New York. I'm very happy that it was very much scaled.
Because you're
to
very
it.
familiar with New York.
Yeah, I've been there a few times, and it's very, very realistic.
So you could say you knew New York or you know New York.
yes, I am New York now.
I am.
I am New York. Yeah,
Can't wait to travel you.
playing
That's
the
weird.
game, I have no gripes for it, and I didn't expect to. It just the way that it's been recepted, and we wanted a good Spider-Man game for a while, and this is that good Spider-Man game, and I'm very happy that a lot of the people that have been irking for some good Spider-Man content to come out. I mean, we've been very spoiled with the Spider-Man that we've seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, along with this game. I think there's a lot to be said to have the future of Spider-Man be even more than what we currently see. I'm very happy with the game. Very happy
wait
with
for
the game.
the rap album by Spider.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for the art, the concept art for future games or future DLC.
Yeah.
I can't wait for.
Can't wait for the Spider-Man musical that will inevitably come out now.
I want the cup holders. I want the.
Those already exist.
The fanny packs. I need.
Call them Spider Packs.
Spider Packs.
So, Evan, what do you think?
Spidey packs.
When you play this game, what hit you?
Oh man, just the vibrant colors. That's the first thing that really popped out to me. When you the game just drops you in, and you're Spider-Man. In the first 2-3 minutes, it just drops you in, and you're Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And the first thing that really popped out to me, was just the vibrant colors. Just everything pops, and it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
The landscape, the landscape of New York, looking over and seeing the skyline of New York. As you swing through the city, it is beautiful to look at. And
the lighting is especially for the day-night cycle to be in place and the lighting to be so on point. It was very impressive how there was no weird jumpy shadow.
There actually isn't a day-night cycle. There actually isn't.
When you're following the storyline.
When you
follow the story, it changes per story. But the thing is, though, you can when you complete the game, you can go to a research facility.
There's no preloaded asset. Everything is loaded as the
story
situation.
progresses.
Right.
Exactly.
And I think that's why it looks so good.
It does. It looks very good, and it's very.
They took time getting each time of the day. Lighting wise, like you said, and it all looks great. Yeah,
I agree with Evan. This is not necessarily the best looking game, graphically. It's not necessarily the most advanced and the highest quality, but it is one of the just probably top 3 games to look at.
Yeah,
just to look at, just the colors and everything, like you're saying.
Yeah,
gorgeous.
I mean, honestly though, I think graphically it is. It is one of the top games. It's not perfect. There are some things that get kind of
the people on the street and stuff are not that good looking.
Yeah, but the thing is that you never spend a whole lot of time.
Well, we found Jesus on the street, so can you really say that they're not perfect? So
I can't argue with that.
You're like, you know what? I didn't think of that. So it. Oh man, and
especially for an open world game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what's impressive is a lot of the time.
That's what I'm kind of getting at. It's great for being an open world game. If it was a very select area where you can only play and the people look like that, then I'd be like, okay, a little more time could have been put in. But the fact that it's an open world, everyone's moving at the same time. It's all one moving machine. New York becomes a character in itself.
I agree.
It's great.
Yeah,
it's a good time.
I think a lot of what was the success of just the game itself is, like you said, just how everything is very detailed. You could go from swinging across New York and the buildings and stuff, and then if you drop down, there's no lag, there's no difference. Everything's there waiting for you to interact with it, and I think that's what's a very impressive part of that game. And if I play GTA, everything, you can see things render as you get close to it. You can people bug out a lot. It's but this one it's very like I said, I like to see if I can glitch games out and without trying to make it obvious.
I was gonna say you really had to try.
Yeah, I really did.
And what's crazy about it is that Nathaniel and I were watching you play and we were talking about it. We didn't really see any glitches when we played.
No,
I've probably played a good at least 40 hours in this game, and I saw one glitch.
Yeah,
and it's an open world game. That's unheard of. The amount of polish in this game is.
You expect at least one or two. The fact that you only really came across one,
and it wasn't game breaking or anything.
And I can't even recall anything that there was one, and a goon got glitched behind, he got glitched in a tent or whatever, and was kind of stuck in there, but
that's apples and oranges compared to for the whole game that you played. Having one is
and that was the one. Yeah, exactly.
I played Fallout 4, and the whole game was a glitch in my opinion.
I played Skyrim, and Where was the game? It was mostly just glitches.
It was a lot of glitch. I
It
mean,
was launched. but that
Welcome to
doesn't
the
mean-
land of glitch.
I think we're in a time now where a lot of games like this, open world and games like the sort, are becoming so fleshed out that we won't have that issue anymore.
They're becoming more polished.
I think it also
Absolutely.
depends on the publisher, though, and like,
Yeah, it does. It does. Like
They're-
Bethesda, they are renowned for just being like, we'll figure it out if it comes.
Also, people will
be
buy our
the
games.
star.
Yeah, yeah.
Be the star.
Yep.
Dude, but Insomniac knocked that out of the park, dude.
Yeah, I think in the famous words of IGN that they repeated like 15 times verbatim in the review,
You feel,
like Spider-Man. No, that's actually I would actually disagree with them.
I'm trying to find a better way to put it, but I
would
have
say-
to echo it because
I would-
because I have that similar feeling.
I think the way I would put it is that this game, not necessarily does it make you feel like Spider-Man. Everything about this game is Spider-Man.
That's a good
And
way to put it.
it's like its own interpretation of
I
Spider-Man.
think I think it's great that they just titled the game Spider-Man because that's all this game is. It embodies Spider-Man.
It's just
it's
like-
not Spider-Man and this, like Spider-Man : this. It's Spider-Man, and then that's what it is.
Yep.
That's the entire game embodies Spider-Man.
Leaves it very open.
They've
And
taken everything from the past and kind of learned from all that and
Yeah.
made the best version of Spider-Man, in my opinion. That I've
Yeah,
seen.
and what's awesome is that, you know, without spoiling too much, we'll get into it later, but they leave so much for sequels, and I know they're gonna get one because
absolutely,
this
they'd
game
be
is
dumb
so-
not to.
right. But what I'm not worried about, I'm not worried that they're going to make a sequel just because for the sake of sequels or for the sake of money. I know that they're going to make a sequel because they enjoyed making this
Yeah.
game. You can tell a lot of love went into this game.
Oh, the people will want it, especially for as much content that I imagine is in the game from what little I played it.
There's 3 DLCs already
Yeah,
confirmed
so-
to come out. There's one to come out in
The Heist.
October.
Yeah.
Then one in November and
Featuring
then one in
Black Cat.
December.
Now I haven't played the whole game, but I know that Venom is probably not in it yet.
No, he is not
But
part of the game.
He is not.
that in
I'm-
itself will be a reason to keep playing.
We're guessing he's going to be second game villain
Well,
or
no.
third.
The thing is, there was an interview with the game's developer or the game's head director, and he said that the symbiote, the Venom story, he can't be a side character. It has to be his own story. So I think they're really hinting that if they do make a sequel, which I think they will, that the symbiote's going to be the head of that story.
And I
Yeah.
think the fact that he just put that much thought into that just idea and Venom itself shows how much they care about this game.
Absolutely.
and
I
then
mean,
they didn't try to throw him in as another villain in this
Yeah.
movie, not in this game, like how other Spider-Man movies just try to throw a bunch of villains in and go like, this is what the people want, right? No, it's
Yeah.
like every character that is in this story makes sense and belongs there.
And they matter.
And they
Yeah.
build the character from the ground up instead of just being like, here he is, and that's what's enjoyable.
Well,
So
I mean, actually though, it really is kind of like here he is, because you're picking up at this point in the story, you're picking up Spider-Man has been doing this for 8 years. He's
So
been
he's a
doing this for
veteran.
8 years. He's a veteran. He's been around for a while, and so it really is kind of dropping you in, going like, here you are, here's Spider-Man, figure it out. But the thing is, it's so natural, and the thing is though,
Yeah.
a lot of the story and the backstory to his character and how he got there is like sprinkled in throughout the game, and it's not just force fed. There's no narration.
It's not like this
That's
is
what's
Spider-Man.
good, yeah.
He's
There's no narration in this game.
It's not like here's Spider-Man. He's 28 years old. He's male. He has brown eyes. He
It's
grew
not-
up. It just sprinkles it in. When
It's not Peter opening up narration with like, "Hi, I'm
Yeah.
Spider-Man."
I bet you're wondering how I got here.
Yes. Yeah. It does, none of that. It throws you in and then it just starts telling its story, which I think is awesome.
It's like you walk into somebody's life and you experience it and you
Yeah.
learn stuff. What the best type of storytelling?
Yeah.
So
So good.
So, score-wise, before we go into a spoiler review, unless you have like other things you need to say.
I was gonna
before-
say, David sounded like he had something else you wanted.
I think a lot of
a
lot of the game's potential in itself is about how you're going to have things to look forward to and how the community is going to want that to happen. And it'll be interesting to see because of how vast that just Spider-Man's like in the comic book universe, just how vast he is. He's in my opinion, he has more of a detailed like career than Batman does. Like, and especially when you talked about, you know, having the symbiote be like the center of the attention, and I hope that's true because that's like, I mean, the symbiote is to Spider-Man what the Joker is to Batman. That's front and center.
It brings out so much of his
So,
character.
and I think it goes to say that not having to bring out literally your enemy, the biggest one of the biggest of Spider-Mans in the first game you create for them, that's very tactful of them to not make him very front and center and just throw him in with the mix like you were saying.
Right.
So yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with it.
Yeah.
So
at this point, we will be going into our.
Before we do that,
we'll give our
just gonna score
scores.
it. Honestly, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
This game has a few flaws in it, but it doesn't matter, honestly, compared to the overwhelming amount of just goodness that there is in this game.
I have to give it a 10. There's like one gripe that I would have, but it's not big enough to. It's not even big enough to warrant like 1 point down. It's still like, I think I told you. No, I told you guys. The best game I've ever played, but also like the best like superhero story, like comic book superhero story that I've ever experienced ever. And I remember telling you that, and you were like, whoa, that's high praise. And then you finished it, and you're like,
I was like, no, you're right.
You finished it, and you're like, I get it.
Yeah. I was bawling like a baby.
Oh yeah. There's 2 points at the end of the story where I cried twice. I cried. Like it was. Which you will experience those at some point.
I will.
But for now, we're kicking you out.
bye.
So, bye, David. I hope you have
Goodbye.
fun in the magical land of wherever you're going.
I'm going up to L.A.
I was trying not to tell people, but now they know where they can find you. Once they listen to this and track back through time.
If you can find me on the 5 North heading into L.A., I will buy you a drink.
But they won't know because this isn't live.
Well, what if they're like an FBI agent and you can track through time like in sound waves?
Then he's got
any sense. It's impossible.
He's got himself a free drink, I guess.
So, I guess. Love you, man.
All right.
We'll see you around.
Gentlemen. Until next time.
Until next time.
Enjoy the spoilers.
It's a very unconventional way of doing this, but
Right.
yeah, we will see you around, my friend.
All right.
Yes.
And remember, kill Illumination. We can do this.
Illumination will end.
We
We
can
know.
be the difference.
We are the eclipse that will quench the illumination. Bye.
Adios.
Bye.
So
now
full spoilers.
that he's out of here, good. So full spoilers. Okay. First thing that really got me, they did a really good job with keeping the continuity different, like separate from its own story, separate from its own.
This is not an adaptation. Like
No, it's not a film adaptation. It's not a comic book adaptation. It's its own continuity, but it still pulls from different comic book continuities and it makes its own thing, which I think is really great.
I think kind of like what you said about him being Spider-Man for 8 years. I think that was one of the best choices they made because it gave him all this history, and it didn't. We don't need another origin story for Spider-Man.
No, we
have
don't.
So many.
Yeah, exactly.
This did a great job of giving us a more like mature like war veteran Spider-Man.
Yeah,
More like quip ready.
A guy that knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been Spider-Man, and they like do a great job of showing you that.
Yeah, and it does a really good job with being smooth with the transitions of teaching you how to play the game. So then you feel like a veteran Spider-Man when you're playing.
You're not like a rookie that's just like
exactly.
you do unlock abilities, but they're like more advanced abilities.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And I think I was gonna say just talk about the different characters. They did a really good job with Dr. Octavius, Dr. Octopus. They did a really good job with his character. There was a really nice twist, like making him like making him an intern / actual like worker for Peter, making Peter a worker for Dr. Octavius in his lab. I thought that was an interesting twist. I wasn't expecting that.
And I love how Peter turned down like Osborn, where he would make a lot of money because he like really believed in what Doc Ock was doing.
Yeah, he really believed what Dr. Octavius was doing.
Or Dr. Octavius, right? He's not Doc Ock yet.
Yeah, but he really believed in what Dr. Octavius was doing, and he really believed that would like change the world and like help people. And you can definitely tell that Peter's character in this story, he's like genuine and he actually like cares about people. It's not like a fake thing that he's putting on.
No, he's like a sincere, cares about the world type of guy.
Oh,
and he has his issues, but he's sincere.
Yeah, he has his issues, but he doesn't let that affect him, which I think is awesome. He still chooses to be a hero. He still chooses to be Spider-Man, which is amazing. And they did a really good job with because the director of the game, he said that he wanted to he said that the best Spider-Man stories is when Peter's and Spider-Man's worlds collide, and they like intersect with each other.
They're pulling like against each other.
And the thing is, that's all this game is, and it does it so well.
I mean, I'm just constantly getting chills, not because I'm like clammy and sweaty, but because
you are, but
I am, and I smell horrible. But wow,
oh yeah,
they do a great job, like you said, like going between the two stories and meshing them together.
And what was great was that they did a good job with hiding a lot of the major plot points from the E3 trailers that they had. They did what they did really well was that they introduced the fact that the Sinister Six was going to be in the game. But they did a good job with hiding the sixth member, because a lot of people were kind of convinced that Dr. Octavius or Doc Ock would make an appearance, but they didn't know to what capacity, like from the E3 trailer. But they did a good job with masking that, not showing that he was the last member, and they really kind of mix it up, because normally it's like Sandman, Vulture, Green Goblin.
Is it Green Goblin?
Green Goblin and some variations, but the very first one, it was Sandman, Vulture, Rhino, Scorpion, Dr. Octavius, and Electro. That was the original Sinister Six.
So when I was like playing through the game and I found out the person was Dr. Ock, like Doc Ock, he was the sixth member, and he like got revealed. I was like, oh, he's gonna be the final boss. I'm really disappointed. Except I wasn't when I got to it. That is one of the best video game boss fights I have done.
Oh yeah, no, it's really good, and
even just visually incredible.
Yes. Dr. Octavius, he becomes the main antagonist, and his convictions feel legitimate. He feels betrayed by Osborn, who, which rightfully so.
He got ripped off. He was his partner, and Osborn just kind of ran with his ideas.
And in reality stole a lot of his ideas, which is what he's accusing him of. And he, at this point, Norman Osborn is the mayor of New York. Norman Osborn in the comic books, traditionally, he's the CEO of Oscorp, but he also becomes the Green Goblin, which they don't hint at it, and I don't think they've ever hinted at the fact that he has been the Green Goblin in this universe.
And I'm not sure he will be.
I'm not sure he will be in the next one. He's kind of like over the hill a little bit. He's kind of like, I feel like his character is a little too old.
Which I'm glad they're doing. It's new.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
Dude, the twist at the end with Harry.
Dude, okay, so let's talk about
that because
so
he's supposed to be in Europe.
Well, yeah, but the thing is though, if you play through the story again and you hear Harry talking about his trip, he kind of hesitates sometimes because he knows where he's going. He knows that he's not going to Europe, but he's going to this healing thing because Harry's sick. Harry's mother passed away from this illness that is kind of like indescript. It's not really expanded upon.
Kind of an illness they're trying to cure.
Yeah, and they create this thing, but then Osborn is creating this medication that's supposed to help that genetic disease, but that killed Harry's mom. But they ended up creating this bioweapon called Devil's Breath. Yes. And so that was supposed to be the cure, but it became a bioweapon. And they said, okay, well, we can't use that. So what ended up happening was, Harry comes down with this genetic illness that his mother got, and his dad keeps him in this stasis pod to keep him alive. And you kind of notice there's like some black tendrils hanging out around him in the green tank. So like you saw the green tank and you immediately thought, oh, he's going to be the Green Goblin,
right? But you see like
the black tendrils, and then you see like this kind of black webby thing reach out and kind of
just attaches itself.
Yeah, which a lot of people are immediately going, oh, that's the symbiote.
Yeah, I'm very conflicted because it could be a new take on the Green Goblin. It could be something completely different. But I mean, I don't know the comics that well, but I don't know about Harry being the symbiote, like being Venom.
That has never happened.
So honestly, if they did that,
I wouldn't mind.
I wouldn't mind because honestly, anything they do is going to be amazing.
And I think they did a good job with. I think he did a good job with hinting the fact that Venom is has to be his own story. It seems like that's the story that he's talking about.
I honestly hope so. I think that would be great. especially because Harry has, kind of like with Doc Ock, he has that character already built up, and he has that motivation.
Yeah, he
and
has
there will be that connection to Peter.
Yeah, no, you can tell that Peter has that connection to Harry, and him and MJ kind of talk about it too, and they kind of talk about stories from the past, and they kind of reminisce and stuff. So you do kind of feel a connection to it. It's not like Amazing Spider-Man, how they in Amazing Spider-Man 2, how they just go like, oh yeah, remember how we used to be friends, even though I never talked about you in the last movie. Yeah, sure, and
Sure, why not? Easter egg.
Yeah,
No, this is like core.
Yeah, no, this is one of the core like conflicts in the game.
Yeah, and MJ, talk about MJ.
She was great. I thought it was really great how they did hers, and then Miles Morales makes an appearance in this game as well. He gets introduced into this universe, which we'll get to him in a second. But I thought they did a really good job with how she interacted with Peter. She wasn't, this damsel in distress all the time, and she actually got mad at him when he treated her like that.
I think there's a big tendency with side characters to write them as side characters.
Yeah.
Even though they are side characters, they don't have to like act. They're characters, and a lot of times side characters are written as side characters rather than characters.
Right.
Like
side characters don't get arcs.
Right. And side characters are treated as less of than the main character, but I feel like this Mary Jane and a lot of the characters in this game, they're just characters in a story, and MJ holds her own, I think, with Peter Parker. I think they're like equalness, and they're like playing off each other, and just their character importance to the story is just what it needs to be. It's great.
They do a good job making them not side characters but supporting characters. They actually add something to the story.
Yeah.
And they're all doing their own thing, and you see them doing their own thing. And yeah, so I think it's great. Their interaction is great. So when you come into the story, they're not together. MJ and Peter, they're not together. Yeah. And they hint at it, and then
they've been together though. They're exes.
They have been together, but they're currently not together. Yeah. And so they hint at it a little bit, and then you kind of get the bombshell that she broke up with him because he treated her as if she couldn't protect herself, and she was tired of it.
So I think, not to interrupt you, but one of your favorite moments in this game in the story has them two in it, right?
Yes. So there's a exchange where you see Peter as Spider-Man on his phone. He's trying to kind of reach out to MJ while she's kind of upset with him, and he says, hey, he tries calling her. He gets her voice message, and he says, hey, when you get a chance to talk, let me know. And then they start this whole text conversation that you see on screen while he's working. And while he's swinging around, and that is the funniest exchange, and I laughed out loud so much because it was so much fun, because they take that trope of the miscommunication of the text messages and tone, and you can't tell what the person's tone is, and then it gets misinterpreted, all that stuff. They do a really good job with that. Also, there's a scene that I like that you kind of show their chemistry where just really quickly she's talking about someone's being attacked or whatever, and he's off screen, and then all of a sudden you see him in a Spider-Man suit about to jump out the window, and he kind of gets caught, and he's like,
Yeah, I was gonna mention that scene. That's my favorite scene.
She brings up the fact that we all kind of think about. It's what happens to his clothes when he
Did you leave your clothes on my kitchen floor? I can get them.
Yeah, and he just kind of goes, and just backs up and goes get.
And she's like, "You can leave them here. It's fine."
Yeah, it's just on the couch. It's fine. And yeah, I laughed out loud at that part too. They did a really good job with making them they had a chemistry where he.
Yeah, you could tell they had a relationship.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't see that part, you could tell they had it.
Yeah. They do get back together in the end. Spoiler alert. But, it's
I mean, we're in the spoilers.
I know. They do get back together in the end. And
that kiss, dude, that's one of the things that made me cry. But
the thing is, though, it felt natural, though. It didn't feel forced.
It just felt like it needed to happen.
Yeah. They took the hardships of what happened and were able to reconcile through that. And what's crazy is some time passed from the end of the climax in the story,
right?
From when they get back together, so it wasn't immediate.
It's not the cliche. Let's end off the movie with this kiss, and then it ends. It's time passed after the climax of the film.
Yeah, and they're both moving forward with their lives. MJ's like furthering her career. Peter is moving into a new place and looking for a new job, stuff like that. So you know, it's real. It's not like, oh, you know, happy ending, kiss me. You know,
No,
so.
it just felt a lot about this game looks like stylized and cartoony and stuff in some ways, but it's so human in its story.
All right, so talking about humans and story and emotions and stuff. What was the first moment where you cried?
I think it was, if memory serves right, I think it's when I found out what was going to happen with Aunt May.
After he gets the antidote, or when you find out she's sick?
I think it was when I found out she was sick. I kind of like figured something was coming. I didn't know if they were like actually going to kill her off, because who kills off Aunt May?
The comic books have, but
yeah, but that's like doesn't happen often. So
it's like, yeah, but that doesn't count.
when I like, it wasn't really necessarily the Aunt May part. It was Peter struggling with the choice, because he was going to save her.
That part was hard. That part was hard for me. You could really hear, dude. Yuri Urenthal.
Wow, genius.
Dude,
genius actor.
He nailed this role, but you could really hear the strain in his voice. Like, he was trying to be a hero at the time, and he was
also trying to save his grandma,
his aunt,
right?
Who was really like his mother for most of his life.
Yeah,
but
basically.
He in the moment
he's already lost Ben.
Yeah, I know. When that moment when he Uncle Ben, when you realize the moment when the doctor tells him, you know, we can get a sample out of this. It's like, how long will that take? And it's like a couple hours, maybe a day. It's like,
she'll be gone by then.
Yeah, and you can hear him like trying to troubleshoot and trying to sound professional, but you can hear like his voice starting to give. And he's like, what if we wanted to cure someone right now? Like, and you can like hear the fear in his voice, because he's saying like, I think I know the answer, but I want it to be something else.
They don't explicitly say she'll be dead by the end of the day.
No, they don't.
They
do. Okay, Mary Jane does say, the doctor said that she can go at any time. They do mention that, but it's not as like, oh, like so drastic, whereas like, oh crap, like she's gonna die any second. They don't know that. And then they have the bombshell where Aunt May knew that he was Spider-Man for a while, and you know,
I'm like wanting to cry thinking about it right now.
Yeah, he's again trying to be professional. He has a Spider-Man suit on, he has his mask on. He's like, it's all right, ma'am, I have the antidote right here, and he's trying to be, you know, a hero. And she's like, take that mask off. I want to see my nephew. And it's like,
what?
And
it's like
he takes his mask.
So the sprinklers went off, you know.
Yeah, I know.
That's what the water on my face is.
That's what all the water on my face is. Yeah, and you know, she knew the whole time, or she knew for a while,
or at least that's what she says. I want to believe she found out like recently, but she said she knew. I kind of really wanted it to be like she knew the whole time.
She knew for a while, because I mean, it's kind of obvious. Like, you see something drastic on the news, then all of a sudden your nephew disappears. It's kind of, you can kind of put one.
She's not stupid.
No, she's not stupid.
I think the best part about that is it brings out more of the sincerity and humanness in Peter Parker, because it didn't even cross his mind that she would have known.
No,
he was like, no, there's no way she knows. I know what I'm doing. I'm like completely covered it up. But she knows him better than he thinks.
Yeah.
And that what makes it that much harder to lose her.
That line's like, I'm so proud of you, and Ben would be too. That killed me.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, and there was a brief moment where you saw like the conflict of his heart, where he went to go put the antidote in the IV.
It was like almost touching the needle.
And then he pulled it away. And then as he's looking at her, there's that one moment where he looks up out the window and to all the other people that are sick. That was the moment that I think he realized, like, okay, no, like I know what I need to do.
That was next level Spider-Man superhero right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think he grew a few superhero levels that day.
I think so. Another part that I think legitimately made me cry was the end of the final fight with Dr. Octavius,
when he's like limp on the table.
Yeah, when he's on the floor, like, and he's completely incapacitated, or his arms don't work anymore, and
he's just asking for help, right?
Yeah, he's asking for help, and he's still kind of mentally just messed up, and he's like, I know you turn on me, and it's like, Peter's like, I worshipped you, and it's like, you're everything I wanted to be, and just to see his mentor laying there. Like,
the look on, like, the emotions on Parker's face were some of the best emotional animation I've seen in any game.
And then he walks away and it's just like, we have to do what's right, even if it hurts like hell. And
Oh, dude.
and you know, and Dr. Octavius is just screaming for Peter, just in anguish and in pain, and of course in his mind he feels betrayed.
Yeah,
and
but he's like also not there
Yeah, I know.
completely.
Yeah.
It's like him, but it still has like the other part of the Doc Ock bad guy in there in his mind, kind of like
yeah.
conflicting each other, and he doesn't know it's reality, and he's
Yes.
just this confused, broken mess,
yeah.
and Peter has to leave him.
Absolutely.
There's nothing he can do.
Yeah,
Nothing like he just does what he thinks is the right choice.
yeah. This game, dude. When I got done, I tweeted at Insomniac. I was just like, "Damn, Insomniac, you guys killed it, man." Also, we mentioned Miles Morales. He's another character in the comic Spider-Man universe, where in the Ultimate Spider-Man comic book, he actually takes over for Peter after Peter dies.
Oh, he gets bit.
But in this game, they're existing at the same time. Peter doesn't die, and he also gets bit by a radioactive spider.
What do you think that means for the next game?
I think they were hinting at the fact that you could play as different characters in this previous game. I think it's going to be similar to this, and I think
he's going to be more crucial than MJ or Miles was in this game. It's going to be maybe like
yeah, I think it's going to be like bouncing between Peter and Miles. I think as Spider-Man.
yeah, and I think based off what they've built up with Miles, it's going to be great.
Yeah, and what's great about it, they kind of hinted a lot of really cool like mechanics as like pairing up with someone. In this game with Mary Jane, you pair up with Spider-Man, and he helps you get goons out of the way. I feel like that would be really great. That'd be a really great mechanic where you and Miles, like Peter and Miles, can team up, and you can get Miles to do things for you. Or you can switch back and forth. Like there's a lot of potential with that dynamic, and they kind of have this mentor-mentee dynamic going already.
Dude, that scene where like Spider-Man or Peter's teaching Miles how to like fight.
Oh yeah, I love that. It's like, all right, so just hit me in the jaw. I can take it. It was like, oh.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. I also loved the after credit scene where Miles is like trying to tell him, just like, it's like I gotta tell you something that I can't tell my mom. And
Peter's like, no, I don't.
Peter's like, it's like, well, yeah, okay. So when you get to a certain age, you'll start to see some changes. And Miles like, no.
He just
like,
jumps on the wall.
Yeah, he jumps on the wall, and then just like it's kind of weird, right?
And
Peter jumps on the wall too to show that he's Spider-Man. Now, that's the first time I think he shows Miles that he's Spider-Man. He's like, actually not that weird. And you kind of see this cool moment where they're both on the wall together. It's like they're gonna go on this journey together, and I'm really excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, so just one more bit about Doc Ock. I think, like I said, I was like disappointed when I found out he was going to be the main villain, because I felt like Spider-Man 2, the movie, it had already covered Doc Ock in a like really relatable, like good way.
Yeah, but this covers it in a whole other way.
They just take it to another level.
I think they tell a better Doc Ock story than
I
Spider-Man
think
2 does.
it wasn't. It doesn't feel like they wrote the story as, and let's take a villain that we want to use, and let's make him the final villain, and let's build everything around him. It felt like, let's see what is most naturally like complements Spider-Man, who's gonna help Spider-Man tell the best story, who's gonna bring out the best in Spider-Man for this story we're trying to tell. And they landed on Dr. Octavius, and it just works so well and so fluidly. And again, it's just one of the best villains because he's so human in a story that I've seen, and it's just so well executed. And so gameplay wise, we haven't talked much about gameplay. I feel like most people talk a lot about the gameplay just because it's so phenomenal, and it is great.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah,
I think
we're talking mostly about story right now.
yeah, but I think that just shows like
Story's so good.
you could talk about so many parts about this game, but I think the story is what hit me the hardest. But just to talk a little bit about gameplay, like what were like the pros and cons of like the gameplay experience in Spider-Man for you?
Pros and cons. Pros, definitely just with the feel. Like the physics felt really smooth, and they felt good. I think also they did a really good job. Kind of like we talked about before, just like the colors, everything pops. It looks really good. I think they did a really good job with the Mary Jane and the Miles parts, even though those parts they kind of slowed down, and a lot of people will say like, well, they make you wish that you were all they do is make you wish that you were Spider-Man.
Right.
I think it really did a good job with, it was a good change of pace. It wasn't, it gave you a different perspective. It kind of helps you. It kind of helps you, brings you back down to earth, and like that that you are dealing with like people, like like other people, and that not everyone is superpowered, and it kind of it helps you.
But everyone does have, and this is kind of cheesy, but like a superpowered heart. There are other people.
Yeah,
who
everyone
can't-
can have a hero's heart.
Right.
I think that's a really good way to put it. Yeah. So I wouldn't necessarily say that those were bad, but they weren't
like the best parts.
They weren't the best parts, but they did add to it. They did add to the game. I wouldn't say that I hated those parts. The cons that I had, I really only had one con, and it was one of the Sinister Six like sections. It was with Scorpion, and when he was going through the
dream,
the weird hallucination thing, where I think that was the one part that I feel like that was a little. I think that was the one part where I think that Arkham did that kind of thing better with the Scarecrow.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And that's like really my only con that I have. Go back to pros real quick. The combat is so fluid. It has a lot of callbacks to the mechanics of Arkham, Arkham City, Arkham Knight, all those things. But there's so many web gadgets that really add to it and make it its own thing that I think that once you get used to the gadgets, it becomes second nature, and then you can really fight and it feels like very second nature. I love the web mine. I think that's my favorite gadget. I love that so much. I love just like sticking that to an enemy and have them run and like get stuck to a wall or to each other. That's like
you told me about it, because I hadn't been using it much. I used it. So much fun.
Yeah, I told you. I was like, have you been using the web mines? You're like, no. I'm like, use them.
Just like sticking people together. So
so good. If you get it to someone who's behind someone else, then it's so good.
Oh man.
It is just such a good game, and I think that like this will be game of the year for sure. If it isn't, it's a crime.
I mean, yeah, for me, it's definitely game of the year. I played God of War. I was blown away.
Yep. No, me too. We both play God of War, and we both
We
completed
love that game.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love both of these games, but this game just takes it to another level for me.
It's not like God of War is not a good. It's a phenomenal game. It's one of the best games I've played. Yeah. But you've got like God of War, and Spider-Man is just like takes it up a few more notches.
It's like comparing apples to oranges.
Right.
They're great in their own way, but they're very different in their own way. God of War did a lot of great things when it comes to the camera work, when it comes to the story that they told, when it comes to like character designs and world design. That's all great. But Spider-Man, it's its own thing. It's a whole other thing. You can't really compare the two. I think and have it be fair. Have it be a fair comparison.
Right. It's hard to. I'm not like trying to compare them like in quality and saying one is like the better game, but for me on a personal, just like what I responded to the most was Spider-Man. I had the most fun. I got hit emotionally the hardest.
Yes.
And it was just like I connected the most to Spider-Man.
All I can really say is that I cried at the end of Spider-Man. I did not cry in God of War, but I still enjoyed both of them very much. But it's just Spider-Man takes it for me.
I think
if there could be Game of the Year award, like if there's games that can share it, then like maybe have that. But But
I honestly like even Smash Brothers, which is going to come out, is going to be like the biggest Smash Bros game, and that's going to be like a lot of fun. And Smash Bros is like my favorite game series,
right?
But it's just not going to connect with me like Spider-Man did.
Nope. No, because I mean Smash Brothers is just like a brawl beat 'em up game, and there's no story to like get you connected to it.
And I think that's one thing that I love the most about video games nowadays. They have the ability to tell these amazing stories that movies can't.
Right.
And you're part of them. You're like in this universe.
Well, yeah, because the thing is that you can have a game that can take 20 hours, and whereas like movies can't do that. Movies can't take 20 hours to tell a story. They can't.
I mean, the closest thing we have to TV series is, but even then, these are just like interactive experiences.
When you're able to
part of.
Yeah, that's the word I would use. When you're able to interact with the story and kind of make decisions and do things your way, that.
Even in linear stories, you just still get it. Like,
Sorry, I shouldn't say decision. You don't make choices in this game, but man, it's so good.
You're just really invested, and I think the biggest gripe, which is really small actually, is there were like a lot of side quests, which I loved. I love doing these side quests. I love doing them, but I didn't just love unlocking the rewards, but I actually enjoyed doing these side quests, like these different challenges, these hideouts that you take out enemies. My biggest gripe was that there's so many of them that at some point it gets like a little bit repetitive, and the biggest offenders were the crimes. Like I did dozens of crimes, and sometimes I would just wait around for them to pop up so I can complete them. But that's not the game's fault. That's just optional stuff that you don't have to do. But I wanted to do it. So my biggest gripe with this game wasn't really a gripe at all. It was my fault that I like did these things. Like if you want to enjoy the game like to its like highest potential, to its fullest potential, that's how you decide. However you decide to experience this game, how much you decide to do, that's up to you.
Oh yeah, there's also a fast travel option in this game, which I used twice. Once because I had to, because the game told me to show me how fast travel works. Another one because I was tired. The rest of the time, I swung everywhere.
I use it a lot of times, but just because I've completed so much.
Yeah,
like I had to
Well, I will say I love the fast travel like clips in the cutscenes. Because he's taking the subway, which is awesome. I'm talking about loading screens. One of my favorite ones was he's waiting till morning, so he's sitting on the roof eating a bagel with coffee and on his phone. I loved that so much. I thought that was amazing. It's just the little bits to remind you, oh yeah, you're in New York, and when you're in New York, you get a bagel and cream cheese and a coffee. That's what you do. Oh man, I loved it so much. The suits were great too. There's like 28 suits you can unlock. Most of them, I think 24 of them have a suit power. I think the other 4 are just for aesthetic, but each of them come from a different comic book continuity. I think 3 or 4 of them Insomniac made specifically for this game, including the one that's on the cover of the game,
which is just my favorite design.
I rolled with the one, the Tom Holland suit, the one from Homecoming.
It's a little bit more classic, yeah.
Yeah, it's more classic. The one for the only reason is like the colors in that one popped more for me than the Insomniac one. The Insomniac one kind of seemed like the colors kind of seemed faded or flat. Not saying that I don't think it looks good. I think it looks great. I preferred that one more.
Right.
But I will be playing through that game again at some point, and oh my gosh.
When New Game Plus drops in maybe a few months or so, we'll see.
Maybe.
But yeah, we obviously highly recommend this game.
Again, rating 10 out of 10 for sure.
Yeah, not a perfect game, but a wholeheartedly amazing experience.
Would you say it was spectacular?
I would say it's amazing. Maybe even
friendly.
Well, that was a failure, but with that, thank you so much, Evan, for gushing about this game with me.
Oh, of course.
And thanks, David, who was here with us.
Yeah, and he played a little bit of it, and just watching him play made me cry because I was laughing so hard. But we'll definitely do a stream with him playing that, and we'll keep you guys updated when we get closer to that. We're getting closer and closer to doing that, but in the meantime, you will just have to deal with listening to our voices and not seeing our faces.
And also, I think once all the DLC comes out, we'll probably review that too because we love this game so much.
Oh yeah, absolutely. With that being said, you can follow us on Twitter at nerdingout.
You could email us at nerdingoutpodcast@gmail.com with any questions or comments or
any suggestions for episodes that you would like to hear. Just put in the subject bar Flavor Blasted, and also we're on Facebook as well under the same name, Nerdin' Out, and
you can find us on Twitter too.
Yeah, already said that.
That's right. I'm not paying attention. I'm just
it's all
thinking
good.
About Spider-Man. All right.
It's all good.
So thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Bye bye.